For our first three friends that's visiting us, today is Freedom Day. And we're trying to link national holidays with the Christian idea of love, respect, and reaching out and understanding people that maybe isn't part of our everyday life. And we've got fantastic holidays. But sometimes we drift a bit and we just pry on every holiday. And there's a real danger in that, because you might not care about the difference between Freedom Day and June 16 and Heritage Day. But if things continue like that, soon you won't have Good Friday, you won't have Christmas, and you'll just have braai every day without God. So I think using a public holiday to channel back to our common Christianity, I think that's what it's about. So tonight the topic is Freedom Day, and you all know where it comes from. Ne? Moet ek julle toets, Johan? You look the most like Ter Blanche. Why is Freedom Day in one sentence? Yeah? Do you know why it's Freedom Day? Why it's 27 April?
I think it's the first democratic election.
He's saying he thinks it's the first democratic elections. It was the first time everyone could vote in South Africa. You are correct. 1994, 27 April. Thank you. So our frame is freedom. And the theme for tonight that we'll keep on coming back to is freedom from what? And freedom for what? So when you speak, you can delve back or you can aim forward at any moment. I'm going to give each of you a chance. You'll remember to say your name. But tonight I'm just going to ask you, very broadly speaking, in more or less a minute, do you feel free on Freedom Day? Or is it bittersweet? Or are you angry? But basically, do you feel free when you, I don't even want to say celebrate, when you partake or experience in Freedom Day, do you feel free? And you can answer on any level. If you're in an abusive relationship, you can say no because my wife beats me. It's not. Do you feel free? And then maybe a minute in why you're giving us that particular answer. And remember, it's not academic, it's personal. It's for you. It's not for everyone.
Name's Marcus van Wyk. I feel free. If I look back in 1994, I stood with my grandfather who was 70 years old, who never voted in his life. So we both voted for the first time on that day. And the fact that you've got three black people sitting up here that have the freedom to engage. I feel free because today my family and I stay in the pastorie on the NG Church's property. Back in the day, that would not have happened. But also at the same time, it is bittersweet because the lived reality of 80% of this country don't feel free for many reasons. And I'll keep it sweet and short.
Thank you, Marcus.
My name is Joseph Minga. I think that's a very good question. With time, I have come to differentiate between two freedom: the Christian freedom and the political freedom. And I keep these two kind of freedom distinct, but at the same time, I know how to unite them. When you read the Bible clearly, which I have done, which you do, as I do every day, you come to understand that if the Son of God doesn't give you that freedom, you will never be a free person. That's why Jesus said that if the Son of God makes you free or gives you liberty, then you will be free indeed. So the true freedom, you get it when you encounter Jesus in truth. That freedom is not a kind of freedom you can confuse with political freedom. Then comes the political freedom. When you see other people struggling out there, picking up food from the dustbin. When you see people struggling to do things, probably without jobs, probably without houses, then you tell yourself that the system somewhere is wrong, is not favoring a part of the population. And if now you are a Christian, then you fight for that freedom, so that the freedom you feel is not your own alone, but that freedom is also enjoyed by other people. That is why we always encourage Christians to stand up, not arrogantly, not with the spirit of violence, but saying the truth, speaking to authority. And if there is a person I admire in South Africa, it is Desmond Tutu. He was a Christian who spoke to authority to remind them that our people need to be free. Then you link your freedom as a Christian to the political freedom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Trevor Nklola. Yes, I feel free. I feel free because on the 26th of April 1994, I was in Soweto, the 26th, and the people were being killed, and the 25th and the 24th, for something like 3 months, in the townships, people were being killed. I was scared, I was younger. And then I remember I used to preach in the train. Some of my friends, they were killed in the train. But on the 27th, there was not single one person who was killed. And then hence our country was called miraculous, or a miracle nation, because on the 27th, the eve of those, the eve of that day, the 26th, or even the eve of the month or the week thereof, it was in the township, there was no hope. I was one of those people. I was scared. And then 27th, it was a miracle. Not even one person was. So indeed, I am free. And then freedom is not something that can be manufactured by anybody, neither by ANC. So for me, it's just a realization that God gave that day, because there's no way that suddenly all the townships that people were being butchered a day before, or 2 or 3 weeks before, and suddenly there's just carpet peace in the people were. So for me, I'll always remember that. And whenever I talk about our country, I still believe that is a miraculous nation. So I feel free. I know that we are not completely free, but generally, most black people are free. Of course, we compare it with apartheid days. Like, for example, we have a Caspire, we call it hippo. I don't know what you call it. A Caspire, this huge. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so the sound of it, when I was in Palestine about 3 years ago, it was passing, and I realized I was traumatized. So definitely freedom, it will slowly, it will come. But in terms of day to day, I think most of us black people are free. Of course, in comparison, I'm not saying that there's no corruption and other stuff, but I'm saying when you compare during the days of apartheid, like now I'm not scared, but at the time it's going to be 9 o'clock. We have to, during apartheid, you have to walk out before it's curfew. If you remember in those I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to lay 3 quick eggs just to make sure we're hearing. Marcus reflected firstly personally, living in an NG pastorie, but then he went and he said what Mandela said, to be free is not merely to cast off your own chains, but to live in a way that respect and enhance the freedom of others. So you immediately went there. I'm free, but others are not free. And Joseph Minga, he immediately went and said there's a Christian freedom and a political freedom. But what struck me, when he said political freedom, he didn't talk about parties. He talked about people eating, sleeping, actually social issues. So that's the first clue we're getting tonight, that the truly political isn't funny party politics, it's how people live their lives. The hungry, the naked, the social issues. So thank you for distinguishing that. And then Trevor did what most black people do, except Kutlano is young, is on Freedom Day they go back to 94 and think, how was it before? In my life in the New South Africa, I haven't been at a white braai where we start talking about freedom directly like that. Oh, since 94, 27 April. So we have our own work to do to think, how am I less free or more free after that historic day? So I think it's been a good dive in. I'm going to get one nice question and then a provocative question, and then you're going to sit down, and then we're going to have the next suckers up for punishment. The next one you can choose. I'm going to give two options, but I want you to go deeper with something personal, and that is either something that you are very grateful to God for today, personally, in this context, very grateful for, or something you are resolving, something that is not yet, something that's still struggling, that's still bothering. Maybe an example for people who don't know you. What burden are you still carrying of unfreedom, chains, or frustrations, or hurts? If you don't want to go there, you can also do deep gratitude. I spoke too much. Either something you're very grateful for, or something that's still bothering you. Something you feel very free, or something you don't feel free yet. So either the positive or the negative, the difficulty or the joy on a personal level, as you reflect about your life today in South Africa.
Yeah. Well, something, I think the question has got many layers. Something we need to acknowledge that this has been okay. Something we are striving for, to say this needs to be done, and things like that. Yeah, with age, I think I have come to appreciate, first of all, life more than anything. Life. When you are alive, no matter what is happening in the country, political problems going on, this and that, challenges, life that God is giving us as Christians is really something to treasure and to be happy about. That regardless of what is happening, I know I am free, I am alive, and I thank God for that. Now, looking forward, I always think there are many things we can still fix. And here I am speaking at the continental level. I see that people in Africa are not free, in a sense that there are still parts of the continent where you see people are struggling with wars and things like that. And these things always give us sleepless night, not to be happy to see what is happening in the country. However, if there is something I can do to make sure that people in Africa enjoy peace, I will always remember the words of David, that he saved his generation. What is it that I am doing to make sure that I do something that can help other people outside there? And that has been the motivation of the little things I do in life. Whatever I do in life, whether it is about preaching the word of God, whether it is writing a scientific paper, whether it is whatever I do, I always make sure that I address social issues. It doesn't matter if I do it at a very small scale, because change doesn't always come with very big things. So I always make it a duty for myself that I have to serve my generation. I have to do something. I have to free people in my own ways. Scientific way, preaching the word of God. So that is always what I do. I always see Africa, and I want Africa to change one day. Thank you.
Okay. For me, in terms of a positive one, I just want to confess that I used to hate white people. And then I end up meeting Afrikaners in Soweto. They came into my turf. Alexander Venter, even the name, it's a proper Venter, it's not Xhosa. So he walked the journey with us and they paid for my studies. I always say that. So I realized that if you have to zero the problem of South Africa, is relationships. If you can solve that, a lot of things will take care of themselves. Outside of that, we use each other, the skin color, the money and all that, but we play this artificial game. So Skulk, for me, Skulk, as we have been friends for a number of years, and it's not fanagalo relationship. It's authentic, it's real. If it's inauthentic, if it's artificial, you can smell it when black and white people, they put some company together, BEE, whatever, but you can see when they talk, it stinks. It's not authentic. So I learned early that if you fix the relationship, the rest will take care. And that's why you can talk about reconciliation. And reconciliation is not cheap. Someone died. Someone's son died on the cross because of reconciliation. So that's the first one. The negative one is that it's us black people now. We're running the country. And then I know what I'm about to say. It might sound politically incorrect, but I happen to be a Christian. When we voted ANC, when people voted ZANU-PF, when people voted, it was not because it's ANC. It was not because it was ZANU. It's because they were a vehicle to bring freedom and liberation. The very people now, they become the oppressive, economically corruption and all that. And it's us, black people. During apartheid, it was the white people who were corrupt. There's no corruption in South Africa so far that the apartheid corruption was worse than the one that is happening. Even if ANC didn't steal anything, they were just became holy, like the Holy Spirit. The amount of time to recover everything, 30 years is too short. I'm saying if they were not corrupt, even 30 years is too short that they would have. So the damage, the corruption that apartheid did, and before apartheid was colonization, the British, and many times we don't talk about the British, the English people. We always, and the English are the one who created apartheid. We know that. The Africans, they make it look nice. They polished it. And they even gave it a label and then make it 1948. But before that, it was apartheid. So I'm saying this to say, we as black people, we're supposed to know better, to take care of, and I belong to that generation. I'm ashamed that my generation is corrupt. Of course, I'm not talking about all black people. I know it can be misconstrued. I'm sorry, I'm taking longer. My apologies if I take long. I just that I'm passionate about this. I hate oppression. I hate poverty. I work in a squatter camp, and we have normalized after 32 years. And I think as Christians here, black and white, because we are the body of Jesus Christ, we should go out there and confront the way we were vehement about apartheid. And I think we should do that. This year is the 50th year since 1976, 50 years ago. And the young people in this country, especially black kids, they don't have the money to go to school. And then we're driving big cars, my generation, we black people. And it's appalling, it's embarrassing, it's a shame. And I would like the anger that we channeled against apartheid, it must be directed to us today. And it's not only the ANC, it's all of us black people. We should take care of this. Thank you. I'm sorry if I took time, sorry.
We'll deduct time later, but because you said you have friends Venter and Van Heerden, we're giving you extra time.
I'm grateful because of Jesus, right? I grew up in Cape Town on the Cape Flats. You weren't guaranteed walking out by the door that you're going to come home because of what you were faced with. And it's because of my relationship with Christ and men and women who took the time to invest in me. And that was across the color spectrum, and this was during apartheid. But now I have a responsibility to say, how do I pay it forward? But there's something that, you said there's a negative. There's something that I struggle with daily. I remember a conversation that I had with my wife. We came from a particular church one day. And that day, my wife and I had a very robust conversation. For those who are married, when we say robust, it was engaging, let's just say. And I made the comment like this, and we went to a particular church, and I won't mention the church's name to protect the guilty. You're not the only one. Calm down. But the conversation went like this. I said, for 40 or 50 years, people of color tolerated the oppression. Right? We tolerated it to a point where we could not anymore. 94 came, Kumbaya moment. And even within churches, when some people say it was the church that brought down apartheid, no, it wasn't the church. It was individuals, Christians, who took the stand. And so many years later, I now find myself in different churches and different settings, and I said to my wife, there's a gospel being preached that's calling for being tolerant. Grace is cheapened by saying, forgive and forget and move on, and don't remember. But I can't forget, because the scars are still there. Trevor's mentioned, he says, he just heard the wheels of a Casper. It brought back the trauma. And I said, I am tired. Now I'm being called upon by my brothers and sisters to tolerate and say all is forgiven. I'm saying, yes, all is forgiven, but we cannot forget that there are so many people who are still hurting. And the only way we're going to overcome that is through genuine and authentic relationship and having conversation and saying that we have a lot to overcome still. We know that Jesus is the answer, but there must be something practical about it. The Bible says if my neighbor is hungry, guess what? Feed him. And not just feed him. Create and stimulate the economy so he can get a job, so he can feed his family. And so I still walk today with a level of anger and frustration and saying we cannot preach a cheaper gospel that just washes over things.
Now all my questions don't make sense anymore. They've taken me further than my questions. So I'm going to look away from my paper a little bit and just think, when in church we are in a safe space and we talk about the wounds of Jesus brought healing, the woundedness brings healing. When Marcus wants to be frustrated and angry, and he needs to let it out, someone needs to take that. And that creates even small wounds. It's not even deep wounds, it's just listening. So I'm reminding myself to take it. That's like first small level. It's not even giving my house or my farm. It's just take the words, take the emotion, take the memory of an army vehicle or violence, and not jumping to be defensive. So I'm reminding us to take it. And that's when the conversations can become deeper and not, what did you say, smelly? Smelling bad, stinks. Not to be cheap and stinking. So thank you. The naughty question before you leave is, who is most free in South Africa? Because it seems to me everyone thinks they're the ones that's not free. Every group I talk to can assure me they are the ones not. In Afrikaans we say, jy sê die agterste speen. How do you say that in English? I don't know. I don't want to try. You're getting milk from the smallest behind, where the cow gives milk.
Wow.
He's saying, yeah. He's saying English teeth. I'm not sure say that in Afrikaans. But every group thinks they're taking milk from the last line, and some even think we're skipping all the lines of milk and we're getting what's behind the milk from the cow. That's how we all feel. So I want to ask these three experts, you go over your time because you have PhDs, I know. It's fine. Who is the most free group in our country? And now, that time you used is gone now. So 10 seconds. Who is the most free in South Africa?
The most free person in this country, of course I generalize, is a black man. Free. The most free. The least free is white people. The white people in this country, we used to be scared of you. You are now scared of us. And that is why you're getting the up and down to America. Now we are back. You know, like there was a genocide. Now it's no longer there. So if there are people who are not free in this country, majority, of course, I generalize, it's white people. You are scared of us. We used to be scared of you. And you need to be delivered. I know we have young people who don't have money, who are illiterate, who are poor. But fear, it binds people. Most of black people in this country, they sleep in the suburbs. We used to not to sleep in that. But you cannot even come to the township by yourself. So you are not free.
I want us to just sit with 20 seconds. Because us whiteys, we are not used to being talked to like that. But at knowing someone for a very long time, knowing his heart of love, when he says that, he's got a purpose and an intent. And I'm not softening him. I just want to give 30 seconds for us to drink in Trevor's words with bravery and to imagine him in a good sense. Why is he saying that? Yeah, let's just sit for 10 seconds of silence and think what Trevor just told us.
I think freedom, it's not about a physical freedom. We are not free within our minds. It's for a reason why Paul said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And it's not for no reason that Steve Biko spoke about it in Black Consciousness, about freeing the minds of both of the oppressor and the oppressed. And so we struggle with that because we all think we got the short end of the stick. And as Sunday is the most divided place in this country, and it's our churches.
Sorry, I'm slow. When Sunday we are most divided in our churches, are we then so free that we can afford to be divided? Or are we actually unfree still, and that's why we are still divided? That part, the second part. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think this is the most difficult question to answer. But I want to build on what Marcus has been saying now. He used two words, the oppressor and the oppressed. The oppressor thinks, oh, I am in control now. I am leading this country. That is what goes in the mind of the oppressor. He's filled with anger. He feels he's in control, pride. Are you going to tell me the oppressor is free? No, he's not. Then is the oppressed. The oppressed is also saying there, now they are in control. What is it that they are doing? Now, you see, they've messed up everything. You see, they make us suffer. The oppressed is talking like that. Are they free? No, they are not. So the oppressed is sick and the oppressor is sick. They are both sick. Who is the most free person? Is Sky. This is the most free person. Ask me why. This is the man who is putting black people together with the white people. This is the man who is fighting for the healing of this country. This is the most free person.
So far, it's only Joseph Minga that will be invited back next year. Sorry, you might think he's joking, but he's not joking. And take my name as a symbol or a type, not to lose the content of what he's saying. He's practical, pointing to someone. Trevor, the fire you still have in you, you're going to have a chance now to have coffee and boerewors, and your panel will come back. But let's give a massive hand for the first panel.